Welcome to Beyond Film School, where I teach you all about the film industry. I'm Amber, and in this video, we are talking about what separates the good from the great when it comes to script supervisors. And the amazing opportunity to interview professional script supervisors, and through their experience, they shared what makes a script supervisor a bit more than the person who is logging shots, labeling the slate, checking continuity, and taking notes on set. Of course, it's going to take a lot of film experience, being on set more, to be really great at script supervising, but also it takes a lot of getting to know yourself as well. Let's see what they had to say about what makes script supervisors go past the good zone into great territory.
I think a huge thing about being a great script supervisor is being able to communicate as well, and I keep bringing up communication because that's just something that I really believe in. As a script supervisor, you're kind of like the director's little angel and devil on the shoulder or whatever, you're kind of whispering into their ears. But because the directors, there's a lot of pressure on them while they're shooting. So you have to kind of tread carefully and know what to bring up, what not to bring up. And you have to kind of figure out how to communicate with them, especially under like a high stress environment. So I think that's what makes a great script supervisor is you got to be able to clearly state what you need, what you want. And also you can't be like, that is wrong, fix that. Because that attitude is not going to get you far, especially being the script supervisor. You're like, who are you to tell me that,
Right.
And sometimes, or for example, and I'm sure you've noticed this, sometimes script supervisors directly approach actors about their dialogue issues, and sometimes they don't. My way to do things is I usually ask the director first, like after we finish this take, I'm like, hey, this is where, they said a different line or they omitted this line. Is that okay? Do you want me to bring it up with them? And sometimes they'll be like, no, it's fine, I'll do it. And they'll walk up to the actor and tell them themselves. Or sometimes they're busy with something and they know that the actor and I already have like built up like a relationship. They're like, oh, you can go ahead and tell them that. So knowing, kind of treading that carefully is also really important because each director has a very different directing style. And some of them don't want anyone else to approach the actors. And the same thing goes for actors as well. So like sometimes actors are like really in their zone, especially if it's like a super emotional scene. Yeah. And if they're like crying their eyes out and then cut and you're just like walk out there and be like, hey, actually you got this line wrong. It's not very sensitive and it like really takes them out of the zone. So you have to really be observant of the situation and, and how to approach different people at what time of day, like how are they feeling, kind of get their vibe and know how to approach them. I think that's super important.
I think being a really good people person and knowing how to kind of read people so that when you do approach them, if they need a second and you can kind of read that from their body language or their tone talking to somebody else, that you let them have a moment before you actually approach them, especially with actors if they're in the heat of a really emotional scene, like being able to kind of come down to their energy when you approach them and make sure that you're not disturbing what world they're in. Being a person who understands really how a set works, and that you really shouldn't be waiting for the last possible second before you see frame when you can kind of think about things ahead of time.
You have to push the boundaries of the job a little bit to be great. It's very simple to be a script supervisor that shows up on set, does nothing, sits there, log shot, and maybe says what should be on a slate. Often just getting mad about it too, that when things are screwed up, but you're hanging in the background, which is the thing to do sometimes. You have to read the room. Sometimes you do want to be a fly on the wall and be
right
in the background. The thing is, I get a lot of information from different people. Some of it I'm supposed to have, some of it I overhear, but sometimes other people need that information. So I like to spread that information as much as is humanly possible within where it needs to go. If a sound guy needs to know that a line has changed, I got to get that line to him. Even if it's not my job, even if the script is rewritten, I just know he's not going to have that line. Because I have a feeling someone didn't get him in the draft, or he didn't check his email in last night. And I know he didn't check his email last night for some reason. I know. Things like that, knowing the crew you're working with, knowing where you need to be support on a production So that's important. And, you know, actors, we work with a lot of like famous people, so they have to be able to do their job with you. So they have to be able to be themselves. They have to be your coworker, and they have to know that. And that's very important for me. They shouldn't be censoring themselves around you. They should be free to be themselves as much as possible. Everyone on a set doing their job should be free to be themselves. I just want to shoot our show or shoot our movie, and that's it. I want to make the best thing possible, and it's important that they know that I'm not here to politic. I'm not here to do things like that. I just want to make a good show.
I mean, attention to detail for sure. That's like the main one. You really gotta, you have to have attention to detail, but also the ability to look at lots of different things, be able to work very quickly under high pressure. You know, when people are, you're trying to notate their actions, and you know somebody's asking you a question about whatever where placement is, but then the actor calls for a line, and it's like you gotta be on top of all of it, or else that kind of things can fall apart. But I think that also being like, you have to be type A, but also if you're laid back type A, that really helps.
I think being flexible, being adaptable, being able to let things go. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it doesn't always have to be perfect. Also, the ability to look at the big picture. You know, everybody talks about our attention to detail and how that's the most important thing. But if you don't get all the other shots, it doesn't matter if it was perfect. Because
Right.
it won't. It's really the big picture of being able, will it cut together well, is really the most important question at the end of the day. Will it cut together? Will you be able to tell the story? It's not, was that thing in the right place on the desk is not important if you can't tell the story.
Right. Patience,
Okay.
excellent listening skills, great observation, and the use of language. Yes, know how to use it well. And also, not only being a great script supervisor, but just a great person in this industry. You just gotta learn how to say, fuck it, with a smile.
Thank you to all the script supervisors that lended us their wisdom. And from what I learned, it only took a little bit more brain power and a little bit more care to get to that great status. And you'll be surprised on how much the little extra oomph that you need to get to that great status just doesn't happen. If you're looking for a really great resource about script supervising, definitely check out this book, Beyond Continuity. It is #1 on Amazon and on Goodreads, and it really has a lot of details. It's a really good reference to have for you if you're trying to be a script supervisor. It's a good starting point. I will leave that link below for you. It is an Amazon affiliate link, and it is no extra cost to you. If you got some value out of this video, please like, subscribe, or share it with someone who can also learn from it. And there are several videos in the Script Supervisor series for you, so be sure to check them out. The playlist will be on the screen for you. Cover the responsibilities, the frustrations, and of course the love for the job as well. If you're trying to be a script supervisor, this playlist is for you, so check it out. Thank you to the script supervisors that let me interview them. Thank you so much for watching. That is it for now. I shall see you next time.